Hey landlord, my name is Eric Worrell and I work for a tenant screening company called RentPrep, and in this video we're talking about tenant screening in the state of North Carolina. So in this video I'm going to talk about a bunch of different topics, and one of the first ones that I really want to get into is talking about your role as the landlord in the tenant screening process before you show the rental property to a tenant applicant. So they call it pre-screening. This happens usually on a phone call that you get. So you've done all your advertising and your marketing for your rental property and you're starting to get phone calls now. The way you answer those phone calls and the way you talk on that phone call is going to actually help you a lot in your screening process with tenant applicants. As a landlord, you should have tenant screening criteria for each rental property that you own. And these are the criteria that you use, that you measure tenant applicants against to make sure that you're being compliant, and also that you have something that you can point to when you say, well, this is why I didn't rent to this person, or this is why I did rent to that person. Things on that tenant screening criteria can include things such as like no pet policy, no smoking, I require that you make at least 3 times the monthly rent, things of that nature. So if you have those things in place, when somebody calls you inquiring about the rental property, it's always good to bring those things up again during that phone call. Let them know, let them be aware of those things. Even if you have it listed in your rental listing, you'll be surprised how many times people will just glaze over those details and just look at the photos and how much it costs a month, and they give you a call. So another thing that you can implement into your screening criteria is charging an application fee. A lot of landlords do this because they run a background check on the tenant applicant, and this does 2 things for you. Running a background check will give you a clear picture of exactly who you're renting to, because you can see things like criminal history, eviction history, if they're on a sex offenders list, does their previous address match up with what they put on the rental application. But all that information is really great, but when you do run a background check and you let the person know on your pre-screening phone call that you charge an application fee of $25, $30, $35 because you run a full background check, it lets them know that you're serious about actually doing it. So just by charging an application fee and doing a background check, you're immediately going to just start weeding out some of your bad tenant applicants that you don't want to waste your time showing the rental to. So once you get to the point in time that you're showing the rental, you want to make sure that you have a proper rental application form on hand. What you're seeing on the screen right now is the form that we have here at RentPrep, and it is free for you, and I have a link at the end of this video on how to get that. And on the second page of the rental application form, there's a section where they can sign, and that gives you consent to run a background check and also call previous landlords and current employer. I can't stress this enough. Make sure that your rental application has somewhere on that some language that gives written consent for you to do those things. Now, if we're talking about other things that are specific to the state of North Carolina, I highly suggest that you go to our blog post on North Carolina tenant screening, and we have a bunch of free resources for you, tips and advice, and some legal things that you should consider when you're setting up a new tenant in the state of North Carolina. So if you just click the orange button in the lower right, it'll take you to that blog post where you can get all the free forms and guides from us, and you can learn exactly what you need to know when you're doing screening in the state of North Carolina. Hopefully you can find that perfect tenant for your rental. Good luck and take care.